49ers and Cowboys, Goo. Let's get back into it.
Right.
We talked about Dak. You said, and I wanted to read this one to you from the 805. Goo, how do you handle your emotions in a game like this weekend with the Cowboys and Niners? Will you actually root for the Niners at all?
It is a litmus test that I've known they are going to fail. I study these games and I watch them because just my hobbies. And, Jay, there is no emotion because I know that this team, without Kellen Moore, who is now in San Diego, and they told him to kick rocks, had Dallas last year as the number one red zone team, but yet he still caught hell, and subconsciously, I thought he was the problem. Now, San Diego, Los Angeles, they're top in red zone. Dallas is bottom 3. You got to be buttoned up to beat this Niner team. And, Jay, they're coming here not being able to get in. They can move it 20-20, but they don't have Zeke. They don't have a bell cow. No shaded Pollard. Jay, there's no way in hell they can win this game. I know it's the NFL.
Are you doing the reverse jinx thing?
No, there's none of that.
You're doing the fan thing?
No, Evan knows it. There's none of that. But go show me, Dak. But I don't believe you can see it nor read it.
Well, you've been out on Dak for a minute.
You're fine.
You've been out on Dak for a minute. Like, yeah, this is not new material.
And it hurts. Yeah, this ain't fun.
But you're rooting for Dallas to answer the question.
Of
course you are.
Yeah,
of course you are.
I'm rooting for Brock Purdy, who already passed this, do I dare call it final exam, in the playoffs because he didn't make a mistake. Diggs dropped it. I want to see part 2 I got to give Dallas credit. They are a damn good defensive unit. The second go-round, can Dan Quinn exploit anything that – let's be honest, Jay. The Thursday night game, and this is Brock Purdy on a pedestal. He's playing his ass off. There were some throws. Evan was at the game. We texted on the thread. End zone throws, red zone throws where a better safety would have picked it off. Maybe 2 balls. Yeah. But I can't come in here and say they're interceptions. But I told Stein, I had never seen that. Then we're watching the game against the Giants. The safety right there takes the wrong angle. So I'm wondering, is that eventually going to catch up to Brock? Doesn't change his narrative, but is he due for a bad game, Jay?
He might be. And I think I stopped short of he's passed the final exam because we haven't seen him play a full season.
All right. And where do you put Philly on that test? Because
it's a huge test because we haven't seen him play Philly.
Well, was it a fail that he got knocked out?
No.
Okay.
No, because he barely played.
No. All right.
And no, I'm not blaming him for getting hurt. Like, never. But, I mean, the loss is still on the record.
No doubt.
But, no, you can't really take anything away from it. We'll find out, hopefully, December 3rd when these two teams play. 2 months from today, December 3rd, when the 49ers go and play at Philadelphia.
Wow.
But as great as Brock Purdy has been, and he has been great, I don't think anybody can take that away from him. We still need to see him play a whole season. Like, to know his strengths, his weaknesses, just how good or great is it.
Well, he's undefeated in the regular season, 100%. And I know it's not a full one. But
right, but it's not even a full one of those yet.
Ooh.
It's not even a full one of those yet. So, to me, it's, again, that is not to put him down in any way. It's just we need to see a full year and see what a full year looks like. Maybe he has 3 games in a row where 2 of them he's not good and 1 he's so, and then he wins the rest of them, and you look up and you at least see some weaknesses, right? Right now we don't see any weaknesses. What's the weakness?
Right there, help me.
Right, there isn't any. Maybe it's at times tries to be a little too much of a gunslinger when the play breaks down.
He ain't had to pay for it yet.
But he hasn't had to pay for it
yet. And
I
do wonder, JD, like Martindale from the Giants, there was a juncture where that was a 1-score game. I'm the Rams. Why don't they blitz him more? And you could say, well, I don't want to get cut. I don't want the play to go 80 yards. But I just don't get why coordinators aren't trying to take advantage of his youth to where, you know what, we got burned, but we tried to turn the furnace on his ass all the way up. Well, so here comes the blitz, and I'm just sitting back, And I haven't seen that yet from a team. As much as I were a coordinator, I would be throwing the kitchen sink at him.
The reality is, though, teams have blitzed him and it hasn't worked, and teams have not blitzed him and it hasn't worked to this point.
Wow.
Like, it's so along the lines of, I'm not selling him short by any means, but we do still need to see a full season where you go through the gauntlet. Can you stay healthy for all of it? Teams adjust?
That's on the board for everybody, every player, right? He got hurt in the play, but you know what I mean?
You can only go by the information you have, but you need to see the whole thing. Before we start talking about all-time greats and top 5 and all that, let's see him put together a full let's just see where it ends up January 7th.
Okay.
Let's just see where, and it might end up 15-2 with great, 40 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions or whatever the heck it is. It might be unbelievable, but at that point, I'm going to be more confident in what he has in the tank than I am even now. And now I'm pretty confident because everything we've seen to this point has been fantastic.
It's just his ability to read and process and get rid of the ball, Jay, it's incredible, man. And you know what? The other caveat is he's not a statue. So if he needs to move just enough, it's like, man, I get what you're saying. Let's watch it play out. But, Jay, as these games come and go, we're going to get to a juncture down the road to where, and I'm not saying you're not doing it now because it's just obvious it's fantastic right now, but sooner or later that wall is going to get knocked down of, well, guess what? It's the NFC Championship in 2023. Here we go again. For them, the Cardinals to get that to a 5-point game, Kyle, I don't think he would have called the same play with Jimmy. He just whops it to Ayuk right there. I don't think that's going away. Now,
no. Kyle seems like he's
coordinators can try to take that. No, go ahead.
He's as in on Brock as he's ever been on any quarterback he's ever had. It looks like look, the Niners are checking every box. The only thing they have to do is keep checking them.
Yeah, and Moody not kicked the ball out of bounds. Just a couple times.
That's not great. Yeah, then we've started. Look, it hasn't been perfect, but here's the thing: it hasn't been perfect, and they haven't been threatened. They really have not been legitimately threatened. The Rams were playing a perfect game against them.
Now that was I thought
and then one dude has a ball go off his hands and the game's over.
Come on,
but think about that. The Rams were doing their thing.
They were.
But the first time it got off schedule, the game was over. And I remember thinking that sitting in SoFi in the press box, I was like, damn, the Rams are playing a perfect game right now.
That's how I felt.
But you know what else I was thinking? The only way they're going to win is if it stays perfect for the next 2 quarters.
The ball right through his hands.
And the ball goes right out of his hands, and that flips everything, and it all of a sudden the Niners controlled it from that point. Maybe didn't dominate, but controlled the game. The Rams were off kilter the whole rest of the game. The Niners punch it in. The Niners win the game comfortably. I know they got the field goal at the end, but they won the game comfortably. The Arizona game, did you ever think they were going to lose? No, I didn't. Now, it was getting a little weird when it got to 5, but the throw to Ayuk was like, nah, they got this. They're going to punch it in.
Then, if I can, Jay, kind of rewind it. When it was 21-16, I go, are we going to see the first Purdy, just a bad read, maybe a fumble? Everything was on the table. The bird even looked evil on the side of the Cardinals helmet because I'm like, oh, my gosh.
You were on the brink of, okay, maybe this thing is going to veer off the track. But it didn't.
No, he just whopped it a perfect pass to Ayuk.
But it didn't.
Damn. And Ayuk's I keep hearing McCaffrey, MVP, rightfully so. Willerson out a tweet, hey, Purdy ain't too far behind. I'll give you all, it's 4 weeks, I get it slower. I get all that. But, Jay, I just feel like Ayuk's not getting enough credit. And I know he missed it. He's playing his ass off, and the balls that are coming his way, 8 out of 10 times are getting caught.
Absolutely. It's all clicking for the 49ers right now. 888-957-9570. We do want to get to the Dak sound and the Jerry Jones sound, which caught my ear earlier this morning when I heard it. But we also have some people that want to get on the phone lines, and that's Joe in San Jose, who's up here on Steiny and Guru 95.7 The Game. Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Thanks for taking my call. I think you guys are kind of right. Don't rush to judgment on Purdy, on Purdy, because he still hasn't. My thing is, I'm not saying that the 49ers wins have been garbage, but they haven't played under pressure. I haven't seen Purdy come from behind to win, and I think that's a good sign of a team if they can come from behind and win. And the other thing I want to say, Christian McCaffrey, he makes the 49ers team, not Purdy. So without Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers don't go nowhere. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I think he's unlocked. He's a superstar. I mean, he might be the MVP of the league the first 4 weeks.
And I told Evan this yesterday.
Like, we talked about that a lot.
How did we forget about him being out? Just sports and life. You get product of your environment. JD, let's put the rat on the table. Brought to you by ATCO. We forgot about McCaffrey. He was left for dead, basically.
Trent Williams, said, I didn't think he was that. Like, I kind of was like, damn, I didn't think he was, like, he's better than I thought he was.
I didn't hear that.
And I thought, because of the injuries and everything, like, I knew he was that dude at Stanford. He was the dude that he's been with the Niners with Stanford for sure. And he was early on with Carolina. But I think because it's Charlotte and because they weren't winning a lot and because he was hurt, I think I'll speak for myself. I thought he just wasn't that dude anymore. But yet he comes here and he's a superstar. He's in some way, I mean, he really is kind of, for the 49ers, he's the Steph Curry.
There's no
he's
doubt
the guy
about
that draws,
Yeah.
He's not, I'm not saying he's that level of a superstar,
but gravity.
But he come in on a team where we would always talk about the weapons. We'd always talk about Kittle, and we'd always talk about Debo, and we'd always talk about Ayuk now coming on. Christian McCaffrey's better than all, like, in his own cut. It's like the Christian McCaffrey level, and then draw a line, and then it's Ayuk and Debo and Kittle. As far as weaponry. And we always considered those guys ones or A's. Yeah. Well, McCaffrey's ahead of those guys, like, by a level.
Okay, there's no doubt, but tell me what you give me for this. And I'm not caping for Kyle.
But I slept on it.
Okay, and we all did. But at the end of the day, this system that Kyle is running, JD, it's almost like Purdy. You could just do it for any position. Because Kyle Shanahan, pre-McCaffrey, had his team and an average quarterback at best in a Super Bowl and another NFC championship game with the likes of Elijah Mitchell and Debo being the McCaffrey. So I'm not taking nothing away from C-Mac, but it makes me want to give Kyle more flowers, because you've shown us you can do this with what you're currently doing, and he's Marshall Faulk now, and maybe the first non-quarterback to get the MVP since 2012, Adrian Peterson. But you did it. The offense wasn't strong like it is now, but you got to the great heights without him.
Yes.
That's incredible.
I think
it's incredible.
Become such a huge part of what the 49ers are doing now, though, that McCaffrey, that I wouldn't want to see them without him for an extended period. Like, to me, he's such a huge part of it that
I feel
it wouldn't be, if he had to miss a month, it wouldn't be, well, just plug and play and everything's going to be fine.
You would feel it now.
Like, I think they've got the thing dialed to where you even saw what, the game Ayuk misses. It was a little clunky. And then they figured it out, and Kittle did more, and everything got well. But the safety net for the 49ers offense is McCaffrey. You need a play to get throw it to McCaffrey. Run that pitch, inside, and he
watch me hurdle a dude
7.
As I go to the end zone.
Like, how many times do they run that pitch and he picks up 7? Like,
and he doesn't take a shot either.
Like, it's nothing. And when he does take a shot, he gets up. So, like, to me, he's become such a big part of it that I would not want to have to see what it looks like without him and have to see them adjust. But at some point, we probably will.
So do you understand another caveat of this week's game and Dallas's defensive unit, why I give them credit for what they did last January? And let me just read some of the numbers for Purdy was 19 of 29, 214, no touchdowns, no picks, sacked twice.
They played an excellent game, Goo.
McCaffrey, 10 carries for 35 yards.
Excellent game.
That's just Debo, 5 for 95, average 19, 5 targets, and his longest one was, Kittle for 31. Kittle was 5 for 95, but Debo 4 for 45. Like Dan Quinn, that was phenomenal. And since then, outside of the Philly game, because Purdy didn't finish, 30, 35 points when we hit the field.
Dallas did everything they possibly could to keep themselves in the game. I think it's the best defense the 49ers faced. Clearly last year, we'll see.
Well, Philly,
we'll see,
but that don't count because your boy was gone.
I think the Cowboys had better defense than Philly.
Well, now I feel like Philly didn't lost a lot. Hargrave being one of them, and some dudes in the secondary.
Yeah, no, I think Dallas had a better defense last year. And again, we'll never know. I mean, you can't compare game to game because of the injury and all that. But Philly was good. Philly, obviously, they were good enough to go to the Super Bowl, and they play a style that really hurts the 49ers. I just think when you look at, you can run at Dallas, like you can kind of hit them and that's, to me, that in a way plays into the 49ers' hands, but they took that away in the game last year. And so in the playoff game. So we'll have to see. Look, the Cowboys gave themselves every opportunity, but the Niners still won the game.
Yeah, and Brock Purdy was his second playoff win.
But so to me, it's a matter of, and there's all these different things, who has the most to prove and this
all
and
that's
that.
Dallas. They're like Niners, they're professionals. But to the caller's point, real quick,
but
JD,
this is still the biggest test the 49ers will have had this year.
Yeah. Oh, well, you were down saying Brock Purdy hasn't faced any any adversity. You were down 7 against the Rams. I know that's a regular season game. If I go back to last year, if you allow me, you were down at halftime to Seattle, home
down
playoff
against the
game.
Raiders.
Down against the Raiders. That was his last interception, Brock Purdy, but it's not like it's been all, we haven't had to come back at all. And the Ram lead lasted for 20 seconds because they came down with 1:40 and scored. But I'm wondering if this Niner machine is so prolific, what's going to be the time frame of minutes in regard to games that they trail, Jay? Because that's where this thing is going. We can't say it's a negative or we've got to wait and see when they're behind, when they're kicking behinds to where I don't know how many times they're going to be behind. I know it's a long way to go, but man.
Every team ends up behind in games. Like there will be a couple of games and it'll be games that you're not even maybe expecting it. Maybe they get down 14-0 at Minnesota. And then they're able to come back and they win 28-21. Like there will be games that the 49ers have to. That's to my point, as it's not that we have to see it, but I don't want people getting it twisted, because in today's world everybody gets everything twisted as to like, oh, JD said Brock Purdy, we need to see more. No, we don't need to see more, but we're going to know more when we see more. Like, because there are going to be games where he's behind.
And he's young.
There are going to be games where he throws picks. There are going to be, because every freaking quarterback does that.
You would think.
So that's to my point of we're still learning about Brock Purdy. We haven't really seen him enough to even really know what his weaknesses are.
But to that point, Jay, 2 playoff games, to me, one being one of the best defenses in the league, that constitutes enough of what we've seen.
Well, he played pedestrian against Dallas.
It's been spectacular.
Because they were a great defense.
Yeah,
but
no
was
doubt.
Good enough to win the game.
Exactly.
He was great against Seattle.
Right. But my whole thing is, I get you on, I got to see more. We need to see more. There's no doubt. And you're not saying, here's the water hose so I can rain on your parade of people being excited of what they've seen thus far.
It's just we just don't know the full spectrum of what he is.
And that's all coming down the road. No doubt about it.
Because even if he is Tom Brady 2.0, there's still going to be weaknesses that we're going to learn that he has just because we're going to get to watch him for 17 games straight.
Right.